Hi folks, Junkins here, playing Sailaway the Sailing Simulator. Here it is on actually the same day, just after I finished the last recording, and I'm doing another one because I was a little bit confused about what was sheet on the Genoa, and it eventually occurred to me that this is in fact the halyard and this is the sheet. So when you lower the halyard, it comes down along here and closes off there, and the sheet falls along like Jill. Anyway, that being said, let me reiterate the reason we have this channel in the first place is for senior citizens, or indeed anyone else who is marginalized and does not feel comfortable with some of the things they hear in YouTube in general and in games in general. So that's why we have comments. So it's kind of a safe place for you to just hang out and leave a comment saying whatever your experience was in terms of gaming in general, or YouTube in general, or actually about this game, and maybe give you some insight into how I should work with this game. Now, that being said, please hit the thumbs up button and or the like button, the subscribe button. So now that I have this boat already trimmed mostly, I'm not going to bother trying to trim it some more. It's pretty darn close. We're going roughly 6 knots at a wind speed of roughly 11. The apparent wind speed is even faster because we're going 6 knots. Now, what we're going to do instead is continue with the tutorials, because once we finish the tutorials, I'm going to try to play one of the laid out courses they have and see what that's all about. We'll find out. So map-wise, we'll just cross this one, generally heading in that direction. We'll get there in a long goddamn time, another 45 minutes. So, let me hit the escape key and the activities key and the tutorial thingy, and we will scroll along. We've done telltales. Don't think we've done depth of curve, or curve depth. Depth of letter, never mind. The theory behind having a flat or deeply curved sail. Okay, let's try that one. And you need the Sailaway Cruiser 38 for this. Do you want to switch? It's the same as this one, except it's somewhere else off the coast of Africa, I think. So we'll head over there. Looks different. Must be a different boat. It's a different boat. Okay. When the wind passes along the sail, it is bent along the shape of the sail. This is what propels the boat forward, and we'll see it here. The wind is coming in from this direction, and for various reasons, it curves around the sail. In this case, it's curved by pressure. In this case, there's a created vacuum in here that pulls this wind in along that way. Now, the further you bend the wind, the greater the force in the sail, and the faster the boat will go. So the more we bend it, mostly makes sense because it's creating a bigger and bigger vacuum, which pulls it further and further forward because of the shape of the boat. We've got to bow this way, stern that way. It's going to go forward, and create here, it's going to create more and more pressure, which pushes it 90 degrees if we watch the previous video to this, but the combination of the shape of the boat and the apparent direction is going to be dragged that way. Now, unfortunately, there are limits to this. At some point, the airflow can't keep up and will release from the sail. This is because the air can only be changed from its original path to a certain speed. Say again, this is because the air can only be changed from its original path to a certain speed. Kind of like switching turn zones there, or acceleration. Change from the original path to a certain acceleration. Not quite sure exactly what the terminology is saying there, but in essence being you have too much of a curve in here, for example, it's going to cause a little swirly gig in there, so you don't want it to curve that much. Finding the optimum. The trick is to find the optimal depth of the curve in the sail, just to the point, otherwise dolphins, just to the point where the airflow almost releases. So we just keep fooling around with the curve, and there's the angle we're sailing until it just starts to screw around, and then we back adjust a bit and things go correctly. Little wind, more curve. When the sail speed is low, when the wind speed is low, it takes longer for the air to travel from the front to the back of the sail. This means that there is more time to alter the path of the air, and it means the sail can be curved quite deep. And if you hear that buzzing sound in the back, it's some people working on the outside of the building, and they just decided to start work again just as I started recording here. So hopefully it doesn't disrupt us too much. Now what it's saying here is we're slowed down. We're down to 2.1 knots in terms of wind speed. So the wind, because it's going slowly, it's going to take longer for it to go from here to here. So it has more of an opportunity to curve in around the sail, and the opposite on the outer side because of the vacuum there. And we go on to the next one. Now a strong wind, less curve. So now we're up to 14 knots, and our boat's picking up speed relatively. When the wind gets stronger, the air travels faster along the sail, and there is less time for the air to change its course. The curve in the sail needs to be less steep. So, there's not more distance, it's more time that it takes. So that you get the wind blowing in here, and it only has time to curve a little bit because we're just scooting right along at a high speed. Too much, but at some point the boat simply gets too much wind and starts to heel over too much. Too much heel will slow the boat down tremendously. So what we're talking about here, though, is not the wind so much, or the curve of the sail so much, as the fact that the boat is tilted over. So because the boat's tilted over a greater distance, let's jump here. Will you let me do that? Yes, it will. So the boat is actually, well, it shows the water actually coming up over it there, but that's not exactly true. So along here, there's a greater amount of friction created here, and that's going to slow the boat down. So instead of always trying to make the curve as deep as possible, at some point you may want a bit less power in the sail to reduce the heel and make sailing more comfortable as well as faster. Now, Or let's jump ahead again, and this time, okay, we can't adjust the heel. It doesn't have these little outboard kind of things that you move back and forth. So we have to do it by reducing the size of the sail. Maybe that's why it keeps telling me I should reef, because it doesn't account for the fact that I can balance the curve or the tilt of the boat with the apparatus that I have. Anyway, so at times, you know, you can just make an ideal wind to sail ratio, but that causes the boat to tilt even more, which again starts to drag along the sides, so friction builds up. Another reason to make the sail more flat is when you sail upwind. The apparent wind angle will be very small. In this case, no, we're still about 45 degrees. Put that. The apparent wind angle will be very good. This is the apparent wind, so it's down to 30 degrees. The sail angle at the front of the sail will be to match the direction of the wind or the front of the sail and start flapping. We've got to adjust the curve or the angle and let the wind slide along here rather than causing little circle things. Now downwind, exception to the rule: when going downwind, the sail works like a parachute rather than an airplane wing, and the deeper the curve is in the sail is, the better this parachute will work, in which case you would probably raise the gennaker. And that's it. I hope this made sense. Well, kind of. So let's go on to the next tutorial now. Click yes. So we're on to the next one, which deals with wing shape. We all know the shape of an airplane wing. It's round, and at the front, the thickest part is around 1/3 in, and it's thin at the back. This aerodynamic shape causes the least drag. It reminds me of the Monty Python skit about the guy saying he has this big secret about dinosaurs, that they're thin at the front, they get fat in the middle, and they get thin again at the end. Anyway, wing shape 2. On the sailboat, we don't want any drag either, especially not when going upwind. So that wing shape, curve at 1/3, would seem ideal. So the curve should be at 1/3, which is about here. Okay, the center of that curve, yeah, it's about 1/3. Okay, for the light wind, however, there's always a however. There's always an however. When there is a little wind, we want as much power from the sail as we can manage. Who cares about aerodynamics when there's hardly any wind to be dynamic with? Okay, that's obviously not referring to this because we're up to 17 knots here. The light wind. Swinging around. The light wind, in light winds, the depth of the curve is as deep as we can manage. If that curve was positioned towards the front of the sail, the angle of attack would be very deep, and we would not be able to sail very high upwind. So in a light wind, depth of the curve is as deep as we can manage. If that curve is positioned towards the front of the sail, the angle of attack would be very big and we would not be able to sail very high upwind. So if we had this curve further back, then this wind would follow it better, but because it's further forwards, this wind just jumps the gun and goes straight through, and these little whirligigs start to happen. I'm guessing. Curve back. Better would be to ease the deepest region of the curve more backward and give the air the opportunity to adjust more slowly to the deep curve we want to use. So we move the curve back, and again now it's coming around at a nicer speed. Side effect. Also, when you pull the curve to the front, most sails also become less deep, and that would be a waste of sail power. Also, when you pull the curve to the front, most of the sails also become less deep. When you pull the curve to the front, most sails also become less deep. Not quite sure exactly what they're talking about there. So you're pulling the curve toward the front. The sail becomes less deep. Okay, it's not as much of a curve, even though the curve is pushed front. And that would be a waste of sail power because it's not catching enough wind. So it's going to be a little more curve in there. I don't know why they have us on this boat because everything's all screwed up. Okay, strong winds. In strong winds, you want to reduce the pressure in your sail as soon as you can. Reduce the pressure in your sail as soon as you can, and that means that you would want the little bit of curve that you have in these winds to be far forward. Further forward, the easier the wind is released. Okay, in a strong wind, going like crazy, you want to reduce the pressure in your sail as soon as you can. And that means that you want the little bit of curve that you have in these winds to be far forward. Okay, so in high winds you want the curve up here rather than back here at a third. So the wind can move along here. If you try to put more curve in, it's going to cause little eddies of wind, I think. Downwind. Finally, when you sail on a broad reach, downwinds or downwind, the curve location doesn't really make a huge difference anymore. You probably want it more towards the center of the sail unless the wind is really strong. So you're trying to catch the wind now, so you swing this out here, it catches the wind. Nothing has changed here, so whatever's happening in this boat, it's got nothing to do with the tutorial. But in this case you're downwind, so, well actually you're not downwind, we're still upwind here. So if you were downwind, you wanted to catch as much wind as possible, you'd put up the gennaker, and away you go. Summary: light wind, curve centered; strong wind, curve forward; upwind, curve forward; downwind, curve centered. What you do when the settings are in contradiction is where experience comes into play. Sailing is not an absolute science. Okay, so we're going to leave us here. Are we? Well, we're 20 minutes in. I'm just concerned about that background noise. Hammering and sawing and vibrating, what have you. Let's try one more. We're just 21 minutes in, so let's see if we get to the next one. The boom angle. When we sail, we tend to look at the angle of the boom to judge the sail angle to the wind, but that works only for the bottom part, whereas the large piece of cloth high in the mast is just as important, or actually it is the most important. So don't just rest your opinion on this part. You'll want to see what's going on up there. In this case, it's flapping like crazy. Okay, top is important. First, the force of the wind is in the top half of the sail, has much more effect on heel than the blowing in the bottom half. Well, that makes sense. The higher up, the more torque, the more things going to fall over. Simply because the side force is applied higher up in the mast, and the mast therefore has more effect on heel. Second, the wind near the Earth's surface is disturbed and slowed down because of the friction moving along the Earth, whereas the wind higher in the sail can flow freely and blow stronger. Makes more sense. Sail angle. Now let's try heel. Let's say heel is not an issue. We just want to use the sail as efficient. We just want to use the sail as efficiently as possible. You'd think the sail angle at the top and the sail angle at the bottom would need to be the same. Sorry, it is not. If, for instance, the true wind is 4 knots coming from 90 degrees and the boat sails 2 knots, this means the apparent wind is 60 degrees. The gain's got nothing to do with that. And this is separate from the boat, so what we're saying is, that's the motion of the boat, the wind's blowing 90 degrees. The apparent wind would be this one, which is what's going on here. So what that has to do with the top and the bottom exactly, I'm not sure. The wind higher up is almost always stronger than down low, which makes sense because the friction of the water on the wind. At the level of the bottom of the sail, the true wind may only be 3 knots to 5 or even 6 knots at the top. This also affects the apparent wind angle. Ease the top out. This is why you need to let the sail open up a bit. To ease the top, to align it better with the angle of the wind. To ease the top of the sail. Let's see, he's going to talk about the top of the sail. I'm not sure if you use the Oathall, Cunningham thing. Well, pulling the mast would have most, using the backstays, would have the most effect higher up. So we'll keep going, see what it says. Effect strength. This effort of a different apparent wind angle is strongest on a, I'm babbling. Top, again, the effect of a different apparent wind angle is strongest on a tight reach. with a true wind angle of 90 degrees. By tight reach, mean you're picking up a little wind or you're picking up a lot of wind. Okay, you must be picking up 90 degrees here on the tight reach with a true angle. The effect of a different apparent wind. The effect of a different apparent wind angle is strongest on a tight reach. The effect, so you get what, more apparent wind? I suppose so. The wind's coming from say 90 degrees, plus you're flying forward, so that's going to be added to give you the apparent wind. The effect is also strongest in light winds. The stronger the wind blows, the lighter the apparent, the lighter the, start again. The effect is also strongest in light winds. The stronger the wind blows, the smaller the difference in apparent wind angle. I'm taking the word for it. I'm not 100% sure what the dynamics mean. Summarizing, so if all that matters is to get the most performance out of the sail, you would have to open the top in light winds, close the top in stronger winds, open the top on a tight reach, close the top upwind. Reduce the heel, but this is not entirely true. As the wind gets stronger, maximum efficiency is no longer the most important. You need to reduce the heel as much as you can by easing out on the top of the sail. Makes sense because the top of the sail has the most effect. The force in the top is reduced and the boat comes more upright. Makes sense. Let's just click that and see whether it clears up some of that flapping. Here we go. Tighten that a bit. Now you can almost breathe. I wish I did that before. Okay, summary. Looking at the wind strength, this is what the top of the sail would be. Open in light wind, closed in moderate wind, open in strong wind. Okay, in strong winds you open because you don't heel as much. I'm thinking summary 2. Looking at the wind angle, this is what the top of the sail would be. The wind angle, more closed upwind, open on a tight reach, half open on a broad reach, and downward. Do I want to go further? No, I was confused as hell. Okay, so where are we here? Not anywhere near where we want to be. We're again off the coast of Africa. I should go through all these boats later on. In fact, in this particular case, I am going to put it at anchor because I now possess this boat. Does that ever sound nice? I must have been cranky or something. Anyway, here we are. Background noise is gone, sailing is gone, things are quiet again, and I'm able to close this off by shifting with the escape key back to the boat that I want, just not this one. Pretty sure it's this one. That's an offshore racer as well, but it's in a different location. This is the one we want here. Please say yes. Yes, because there's my course outline. Which, by the way, I have lengthened all the legs of the course so that they're now 4 plus. So we'll see if they're going to connect to all of those. And for now, I am saying it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. For they would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. Now, just double checking to see whether everything is as it should be. We're heading straight for this one. We're 6 minutes away. Our speed is 6.6. We're going through here. Then we're going to slowly turn along. I'm pretty sure we're off the coast of Maine at this point. Okay, so please do hit the like button or the subscribe button. Most importantly, leave a comment about this particular game, this coverage of the game. Whether there's something I did wrong, whether there's something you learned. Plus, please let us know generally about gaming and about what life at the age of 70 is like on the YouTube, on the internet, on the YouTube. Anyway, so, all that being said, until next time, please do take care.